Good morning, everyone. My name is Sam Deeb. I'm a member of the distribution team here at Pinnacle. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Don Hamson, Managing Director of Plato Investment Management. Don, we're here today to discuss the Australian reporting season and how the team at Plato are unpacking some of the latest results. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Sam.
Let's jump straight into the big news this morning. BHP have announced a huge result and a record annual dividend to shareholders. Could you walk us through their result?
Yeah, well, it was just a technicality that it wasn't a record result on every front. They did actually spin off their oil and gas assets to Woodside, and they weren't included in the end result. If they'd still held the oil and gas assets, it would have been a record NPAT, record revenue, record everything. But it was a near record profit in any case, and it was definitely a record dividend at $3.15 per share annual dividend, fully franked. That's US dollars a share. That actually works out to nearly 12% gross yield on the current price of BHP. So great return to shareholders. And remember, you actually got the assets of shares in Woodside spun off in the last 12 months as well. So shareholders getting record dividends and extra assets. In fact, if you convert the dividend and look at it and then the franking credits, the BHP paid out a record 33 billion Australian dollars in cash and franking credits in the last 12 months. So it's a great result. Whilst iron ore did come off, in fact, EBITDA from iron ore was down 17%. The standout was coal. We all know that energy prices are going up, the electricity going up. Well, the price of coal has gone up dramatically, and they're mainly Queensland-based coal operations. The EBITDA, so virtually you can consider that cash flow, went from $300 million US dollars to 9.5 billion. So it's a huge increase in earnings out of coal, and coal prices are still elevated, so that is pretty good for the next year. The other thing was that they virtually have no debt. Their net debt is now just $300 million US dollars. So not that long ago, it was $16 billion. So all up, a great result from BHP and ahead of market expectations.
Wow, certainly sounds positive. Thanks for that, Don. Next company we had our eye on was JB Hi-Fi, who reported yesterday. It appears that sales have remained strong and they've actually increased their final dividend. How are the team at Plato unpacking this result?
Yeah, that was another good result. I mean, it had been largely pre-released in July. They released their sales, etc. So not as much of a surprise there, but it was again a record full-year dividend. The final dividend is $1.53, which is actually over 40% bigger than the one they paid final dividend last year. And for the full year, they paid a total of $3.16 Australian, fully franked, and that equates to around a 10% gross yield. So that's a good return to shareholders there. I think the important thing wasn't the year that gone past. It was sort of a record year, but the numbers they released, which was new to the market, were the sales in July. So they released the month of July sales, compared them to last July. And the good news there was that in Australia, anyway, sales are still going up significantly. So July 2022 sales were 9% higher than July 21 for JB Hi-Fi Australia. And the good guys are up about 8% compared to last year. The one somewhat negative result, though, was in New Zealand, which is about 6 months ahead of us in terms of the interest rate cycle. They started raising their rates a lot earlier than we did, and they're already higher than what we are. Their sales actually fell about 1%, so that was a bit softer, and that is probably a bit of a headwind for Australia. In fact, the CEO did quote, "As we enter an increasingly uncertain retail environment." So there is some cautionary words, but as yet we haven't seen sales slowing down in Australia. So we have seen a number of rate rises here, and we're yet to see a slowdown in retail sales. So still pretty good result, and record dividends, so another great return for shareholders.
Definitely, and we'll be definitely keeping an eye on that moving forward in the uncertain period. As always, Plato show that there are plenty of opportunities to source income in Australian equities. Their experienced team have consistently been able to deliver both income and total return to investors. The Plato Australian Share Income Fund is available on all major platforms, and you can also access the listed Income Maximiser strategy on the ASX under ticker PLL8. If you have any further information requests for Plato, please do not hesitate to reach out to a member of the Pinnacle distribution team or refer to the Plato website, which is www.plato.com.au. Thanks very much for your time today, Don, and for everyone watching, have a great day.